1776, representatives of the U.S. colonies signed a landmark document in the history, the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. Of the United States, a little earlier, on July 4th of that year, was adopted by the Continental Congress, and this is celebrated in the U.S. to this day. But there is a nuance. If you look at the signatures of the documents, you can see that they were signed by representatives of the first United States. And if you look at on a map, you'll see a relatively small sausage stretching up the eastern coast of North America. As you know, today the United States consists of 50 states, forming one of the largest powers in the world. But it hasn't always been this way. Today we're going to talk about how the US added territory from the first states, from the addition of the first states to the last territories. Let's start in 1791, when Vermont, originally an independent republic, joined the US as the 14th state. This small republic remained independent for decades, with its own currency, post office, and constitution. But due to geopolitical circumstances and the threat of annexation, Vermont decided to voluntarily become part of the Union. It was followed by Kentucky, 15th state, which seceded from Virginia, Tennessee, 16th state, which formed from North Carolina, and Ohio, 17th state. Interestingly, Ohio was originally French territory and then passed to the British until it eventually became an American state. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 was a key milestone in the history of US expansion. The $15 million deal with Napoleon Bonaparte doubled the country's territory. This purchase included land where the states of Arkansas, Kansas, Nebraska, and parts of North Dakota and South Dakota are now located. Napoleon, facing military difficulties in Europe, decided to sell this territory to focus on the war with Great Britain. The Louisiana Purchase was a triumph of American diplomacy. Next, the United States turned its eyes to Florida. As a result of the Adams-Onis Treaty, signed in 1819, Spain ceded this territory to the United States. This move was due to the internal difficulties of Spain, which was then fighting the Napoleonic Wars and losing influence in the New World. Florida officially became part of the United States in 1845. The Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848, was an equally important event. As a result of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848, Mexico ceded more than 500,000 square miles of territory to the United States, including the present states of California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and parts of New Mexico and Wyoming. This became one of the largest territorial additions in the nation's history. A little later, in 1853, the US acquired another 120,000 square kilometers from Mexico for $10 million under the Gadsden Agreement, completing the formation of the southern border. The next important purchase was Alaska. In 1867, the US purchased this territory from Russia for $7.2 million. At the time, the deal was called Seward's Folly, but later Alaska proved to be a rich region due to its natural resources. In addition to its strategic importance, the purchase of Alaska helped strengthen the US position on the Pacific coast. Hawaii became part of the United States in 1898. The Kingdom of Hawaii had existed for about 100 years, but after a coup supported by American businessmen, it became a republic. The US subsequently annexed the islands, which strengthened its position in the Pacific and allowed it to control key sea lanes. In the 20th century, the US continued to expand its influence. In 1917, they bought the Virgin Islands from Denmark for $25 million, which provided control over the Caribbean Sea. And during and after World War II, the US increased its presence in the Pacific, making Guam and Puerto Rico critical strategic points. In 1959, Alaska and Hawaii became the last states in the world today. Today, in 2025, the prospect of adding more states is being discussed. Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. are often mentioned among the candidates. Perhaps the map of the US will still change, but that's another story. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget to give us a like and write in the comments. We look forward to your suggestions for topics for the next episodes. See you in new episodes.